live side split stretch. And we are doing this every single day to practice consistency, build a little bit of community, and hopefully together we'll make a whole bunch of progress towards our side split goals. If you've never been here before, my name is Ken, and we do some side split stretching every single day. Good now, Steve. Welcome back. Thank you for being the first one on. I appreciate it. Love the dedication. I have a little bit of a cold, so my nose is a little bit stuffy, and last night sleeping was horrible. But we're here. We're doing some stretches. If all of a sudden my voice gets a little bit weird, it's probably because I have a little bit of a cold, and bear with me. Cool. All right. I think that is all I got for preamble. So let's get right into some exercise. We're going to start with our warm-ups, of course, and that means we're going to do hip cars. Hip cars are all about moving your legs and your hip through its full range of motion using your muscle power. It looks like this. High knee, open, keep that knee high, point that knee directly out to the left or right to rotate the leg so that the knee and the ankle are the same height, and then bring that leg down and back so that the hamstring, the glutes are firing really hard. You're feeling the stretch of the front of the hamstring, the front of the hip flexor, and that this knee is pulled back. Cool. That's one rep. We gotta do 10. Let's go. High knee, open, ankle, down and back. 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 I think that's 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one. 10. All right. Let's do 10 more. Other side. High knee, open. Ooh, I'm off balance. Immediately, ankle, down and back. High knee, open, 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 ankle, down and back. Whew, I think that's 6 or 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, we've done the hip cars. Going forward, let's do 10, going back, left leg and right leg. If you have no idea what those mean, you're just joining in. Hip cars going back looks a little bit like this. Leg back, flex the hamstring, flex the glutes. Feel the stretch in the front of your hip. Bring the knee behind the standing leg. Try to keep that back fairly straight. Whew. From here, lift that leg up directly to the side. Try your best to contract these muscles at the side of the hip. Lift that knee and ankle up high. Try to keep them horizontal. Rotate the leg so that the knee is now pointing up. The ankle is down. And bring that knee forward. Cool. That's 1. We're going to do 10 on the left, 10 on the right. Let's go. Back, side, ankle, knee. Back, side, ankle, knee. Ooh, I'm off balance. If you're also off balance, feel free to go grab something, table, a chair, a wall. I recommend something relatively higher so you don't have to reach your arm really low to actually grab it for balance. So a coffee table, probably not the best choice. I think that's 5, 6, 7, super off balance. 8, 9, and 10. Whew. All right, one last leg, everybody. We're almost done. Let's finish up with our last set of hip cars. Back, side, ankle, knee. Ooh, my hip just cracked. Back, side, ankle, knee. Back, side, ankle, knee. Back, side, ankle, knee. I think it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whew. Hip cars are done. I'm coming back to the phone real quick to check in, see if there's anything to address. Oh, I'm out of breath. Irene says, hello. Hello, Irene. Welcome. Sheena is back. Hello, Sheena. And we got a bunch of people following. Lovely, lovely. All right, so let's continue. The next thing we're going to do in our warm-up is called the elephant walk. And it looks a little bit like this. We're just folding forward, getting into this kind of L shape. Or, I mean, I guess this might be a little bit more like an R. But the goal is to work the hamstrings. So as long as you try to fold forward and feel that stretch in the hamstring, you're good. Don't expect anybody to be warmed up prior to this. We're doing the warm-up together. This is the warm-up. So just bring your belly button down as much as you can. You can have a slight bend in the knee if you'd like. Focus on feeling that hamstring stretch. Straighten your knees, bend them. Straighten your knees, bend them. Get them moving. Shift your weight between leg to leg. Feel that stretch in this outer butt, leg, hip sort of area where the leg and the hip come together as you shift your weight from side to side. It's easier to see if I am facing you. And we're going to keep on doing that. Pick up the pace a little bit, exaggerate, do some cool walking things. Maybe we're going to pretend we're skiing, or like the really cool fast ice skaters. We're like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Anyways, have fun with it. We're working on the hamstring stretch and adding a little bit of movement. Elephant walks. If you find these a little boring, you can add other stuff to make it a little bit fun. And what I mean by that is you can actually walk in these elephant walks. You can take a step forward and walk around. As long as you're doing a little bit of movement and focusing on your hamstrings getting stretched, that is all that I care about. We do a lot using the hamstrings, especially in this workout. So I want the hamstrings to be very nice and warmed up. And we're going to do an actual hamstring stretch later where we focus on end range of motion, not just warming up our hamstrings. Well, I'm saying the word hamstring so much, I'm like, is that where that word fits in the sentence? And then when we do the standing pancake later, a lot of hamstring stretch there. And finally, there's always going to be a little bit when we're doing the side split. Okay. I hope your hamstrings are feeling a little bit more warm. Let's keep going with warm-up exercise number 3. The third warm-up exercise is the Cossack switch, and it looks a little bit like this. We're going to open up our legs decently wide, about 3 times, our hips width, not super critical what you do, because we're going to adjust. We're going to point our toes out roughly 30-45 degrees, and we're going to try and drop down to one side. I want you to keep in mind, I want your knees to travel in the same direction as your toes. So if I were to turn around, now we're going to get into that same position, but facing sideways-ish, 30 to 45 degrees. I want the knees to travel in the same direction as your toes are pointing. Now I want you to do that almost all the time that you are here with me. That is because it's easier for your bones to take on the burden of this movement rather than relying on the muscles and the ligaments on the sides of your knees holding you up. Cool? So we don't want this. We don't want the knee going in. We don't want the knee going out. We want the knee to travel right above the toes. That'll make your knees feel much nicer. All right. We got knees talking. Got the position. So let's actually hang out in a deep Cossack switch position. You're going to feel it in the front of your ankle. You're going to feel it in your Achilles, in your calf, getting stretched. You're going to feel that pressure in the hip joint. That is all exactly what we want. We're just going to chill here for a little bit, give our body a chance to get used to this sort of position. And while we sit here for 30 seconds, a minute, let's talk about this leg. Right here, my heel is down, my toes are up, and my knees are pointing up. What this is called external leg rotation. And it's called external leg rotation because, and you don't have to get up, you can keep stretching, because our leg is rotating out to the outside of our body. So this is neutral, right? Externally rotating that leg so that it's pointed out away from the body. And then if we drop all the way down, boom, that just turns into toes are up, knees are up, heels are down. So this is external leg rotation. I think I've explained it in a way that you'll never forget it again. And we need this position for the side split because it helps open up the hips just a little bit. That lets you get into some side split stuff. Cool? All right, let's go and hang out on the other side and give that side a couple seconds to chill. All right. Whew. You can place your hands down to help you walk over to the other side. Same thing, knees over toes. Feel the pressure in the front of the ankle. Feel the stretch in the Achilles and the calves. Try to bring your knee forward, but just forward enough that your heel doesn't really come off the ground. And feel that pressure in the hip joint down there. If you put your arm on that leg, it makes it a little bit easier to hold that position. You can also experiment with not doing that and figure out what works for you. Especially when I'm just getting into it, when I'm a little bit colder, I lean really far forward because my body isn't stretched out. If you want to try to do that and you're struggling with balance back and forth, like this, you can feel free to try to grab a nice and heavy water bottle or something just to add a couple of pounds in front of you, holding you down, helping you balance a little bit. And that gives you some time to hang out in this position a little bit more comfortably. Cool. All right, let me get rid of this water bottle. Let's start moving a little bit. So in the Cossack switch, we are trying to get from left to right to left to right. We want to hang out in the deep bottom position. And we want to get stronger in all the muscles that help us move from deep position to deep position. And you can make it easier on yourself by putting your hands down, helping yourself to walk over to the other side. If your knee joints are struggling to handle that, you might want to come up a little bit so you're not at the extreme range of motion. Come over to the other side first, and then slowly in a controlled way, drop back down into this stretch. If hanging out in the middle is also giving you a little bit of knee pain, try to come all the way up like you're doing a full squat and then slowly come down, reducing the amount of time you're putting stress into the knee like so. And this is closer to a pattern that people train more, which are regular squats. So hopefully those give you a couple options. All right, we are going from side to side, and we can talk about actually making this a little bit harder. If you try your best to lean back, sit up straighter, and place your foot down, maybe reduce the angle that your hip is pointing out, point it in a little bit more, and then keep the hips low as you come from side to side, sticking your hands out for balance. You can potentially make it a little bit harder. I don't recommend you going into this immediately as soon as we start because, as you might have noticed, I probably couldn't have done this when I first started. He did all of the other variations to warm up my hips to get me ready before I finally got comfortable enough in this deep hip position to be able to go through with these. Whew. Okay. Once you have done a couple of these, I recommend at least 5 on the left and 5 on the right. Then you should be plenty warmed up to continue with our hamstring stretches. We just finished our warm-up exercises. They're designed to help us get warm and move a little bit, get the joints ready. Now it's time to stretch, and we don't do any of that stuff anymore. Go grab a cushion. I'm grabbing a cushion for our knees because we're doing some stretches with our knee on the floor. And I'm drinking some coffee. Okay. From here. Oh, If you don't know, we're doing a stretch that looks a little bit like this. We're dropping onto one knee. That's why we need a cushion. If you need to go grab something unconventional, you can just grab an old flip-flop, some sneakers, drop them right underneath your knee, and that'll do. If you are a sneakerhead and that'll ruin your sneakers, maybe steal your dog's bed. Those are my tips. Alright, let's continue. Hamstring stretch that we're trying to do looks a little bit like this. We're squaring the hips, squaring the shoulders, sticking the leg out directly in front of us, not out here, not over there, not so extended that this hip is all the way back here, but hips feel like they're in a straight line directly in front of the body along with the shoulders. Hope that makes sense. Next up, we're focusing on the belly button. We're trying to bring the belly button down to the thighs. And if that causes you to lose a little bit of balance like it did for me, then you can try to square up your hips and open them slightly so you have a little bit better balance. But the reason why we do this variation of stretch is because it should be almost okay for you to put your fingers down to help you get a little bit of balance. All right, I'm gonna do this at a slight angle to the side here so you can see what my body is doing, and we will get right into the rest of the stretch. Square the hips again. Leg is directly in front. Widen the hips a little bit if you are struggling with balance. Lean forward, bring the belly button down towards the thigh. Your hamstrings are going to tighten up like crazy. Take a nice big deep breath in. Slowly release and deepen the stretch at the same time. Exhale. If that exhale sounded like it got more intense at the end, it's because the stretch got more intense at the end and I was struggling. That is totally normal. Take your time, do a couple of these, see if you can get deeper into the stretch before we really get into it. But don't hyperventilate. Don't take that many breaths. All right. Once you are as low as you can, the goal for the next 30 seconds, and I'll count us in for the 30 seconds, is to bring the belly button down to the thigh. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Come on out of that stretch. Take a little break. We're going to switch over to the other side. We're going to continue with the hamstring stretch. I'm going to come over and take a quick look at the chat to see if there's anything I need to address. Queen R says, hello, how was your weekend? It was good. I got a little bit sick. My knees are a little achy because that's just what happens when I get sick. The bottoms of my legs, like knee down, feel cold for absolutely no reason. It could be like 79 degrees outside and my legs will feel like it's 45. But other than that, it was chill. I hope you guys didn't suffer too much from daylight savings. Is it going bye-bye or is it going started? I don't actually know. Summertime is when it starts, so it just ended. Daylight savings ended. Goodbye, Prob says hello, sir. Hello, Daylight Prob. Miss Maturista, welcome back. It's good to see you. Auntie Approved says this is a good stretch. Love it. Sheena says, I think we forgot a step where we do the walking elephant with the arms and shoulders. Yes, Sheena. I don't do it every single time. I think I do it often, but I skip it occasionally just to focus on the legs occasionally. And you are absolutely right. I didn't do it today. All right, let's keep going. My back is so much better. Miss Maturista. Miss Margarista, I am so happy to hear that your back is better. Are you basically saying that you should do, or I should do the back twist more often because it makes your back feel better? Um, I could just be imagining the timing of that comment. Um, I'm seeing if there's anything else I need to address. I don't think I see anything. Auntie approved. Sent a gift. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Uh, and more. Okay. I had a slight pain. Not sure what caused it. This helps though. Very nice. I am very happy that spending time taking care of your body is helping your body. Those are good positive signs that we want to remind ourselves of, especially when we're sick, like I am, or when you're feeling a little bad. A lot of the time, um, being with other people, having some emotional burden to perform can really up your energy, even though it feels like you're committing to a lot and it's like really intense. And you're like, you're sick. I should let my body heal and take care of itself. If you're not super really badly sick, I think going out of your way to add a little bit of movement, adding a little bit of activity helps you get the energy that makes you feel better, even if you're not actually better. And so much is going to sound kind of weird and psychological, but I'm going to use myself as an example. Right before this live, I was like, oh man, this is brutal. But we practice consistency, so I'm going to do it. Right now, I don't think I look particularly different. Maybe my words are a little bit slower. Maybe there's some sniffling, right? But um, I get so much good energy and good vibes from the live that I think it'll carry me for a couple hours. And it's just because I showed up, tried to do a little bit of movement, had a fun bit of community to interact with. So that's a tiny recommendation for you to experiment with and see if that helps you in moments when you're a little bit more down, when you're a little bit more sick, when you need some good vibes. Cool. I think I saw a comment that says, how often should we be doing these? This really depends on how well your body is recovering. If you do a couple of these and your body says, stop, this hurts, it hurts even more every single day that we're doing these, then you should stop and you should rest. Especially if you're just starting. It takes a little bit for your body to adjust and get used to it. Take every other day to start. That's totally fine. If your body is used to it, you're feeling better every single time, do as much as you can until it stops being uncomfortable. This isn't so intense that your body is doing a ton of breakdown and repair and healing. So you should be relatively okay. Cool. All right. What did we just do? We did the hamstring stretch on both sides. So let's move on into the butterfly, which means we don't need this pillow anymore. You don't need it. Get rid of it. Ooh, that was dangerous. I should not have tossed it like that. Okay. Butterfly stretch. It looks a little bit like this. We're bringing our feet together. We're pulling it in. And we are focusing on opening up the groin, which means the knees are coming down. And we're trying to get them down as much as possible. I'm getting some sign language, and I have absolutely no idea what it means. Did I only do one hamstring stretch? Is that what? Oh, man. I'm being told, reminded that I failed and only did one hamstring stretch. My bad. We only did one side. Oh, man. Which side did we just do? Okay, maybe I am sick. Clearly, clearly my memory is extra bad. I think I did this yesterday too, where I started forgetting. So, oh yeah, the pancake, standing pancake. So those symptoms started yesterday. I knew they were coming. Okay, hamstring stretch. Let's get into it. Sorry, wrong leg. I can't even tell anymore. All right, maybe I'm sicker than I thought. Let's get into it. Square up those hips, square up the chest, have that leg pointed almost directly straight out in front of you, and focus on bringing the belly button down to the thigh. Feel that hamstring tightening up. Take some nice big deep breaths in. Release and see if you can get a little bit deeper. It's okay if your knee has a slight bend to it. If you have knee pain, that definitely helps to put a little bit less stress on the knee itself. Take a couple of rounds of these deep breaths. Try your best to keep the back relatively straight. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I want you to attempt to. I want you to try. Okay. Once you're as low as you can go, let's do our 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, hamstring stretch actually done this time. Now you can get rid of the cushion. I'm gonna throw it gently so I don't knock anything over this time. And we are gonna continue. Excuse me for my gross thing. My head keeps on getting bigger and smaller? How does that work? Is there like a crazy filter on TikTok doing things? I don't know how to turn that on and off. I don't even know where to get those settings. Whoops. If my head is randomly growing significantly smaller or larger, then I hope more people will let me know so that I have an idea to work on in between lives. But if you don't notice it, and maybe it's just one person who's experiencing some weird things going on, let me know so I can know that I don't have to worry about it. Okay, let's keep going. Get into the butterfly. Ugh. We talked about it in this position a couple minutes ago before the hamstring stretch. And one of the problems with this position is, especially if you have a tight lower back, your hamstrings are a little bit tight, it's going to be really hard for you to focus on bringing the groin down because you got to have to like fold forward-ish a little bit, rounding your back just to be able to apply pressure into your knees when you're trying to bring them down. I recommend you get to a wall and with your back against the wall, so your hips, your shoulder, your head are touching the wall. You pull your feet in and you sit in this nice straight position, you might notice that you can focus all of your attention and energy on to these muscles right here in the groin. You might already notice that my knees are already much closer to the ground than when they were over there, even though it's just a difference of leaning forward and keeping a straight back. Having something to push against really helps you to have this nice straight posture, and that security behind you helps you to focus on the things that matter. Cool? This is the same reason why I say sometimes go grab a chair if you're losing balance in the horse stance, or not horse stance. What am I talking about? Hip cars. It starts with the letter H. Hip cars, and you get to focus on your hips doing all the hard stuff that the hips are doing without worrying about balance. Cool? All right, once you are here, I want you to use your thigh muscles, your glutes, to open up your hips and bring your knees to the ground. Focus on strengthening muscles whenever possible and just open them. Take a second, try to bring your knees down into the ground. And once you cannot open any further, we're using your own muscles. We're going to take our hands, we're going to push down. You'll start feeling pressure on the back of your head, in your shoulders when you do this. And that's basically you pushing against the wall to push your legs down. And it's awesome. It's a great thing that we have walls. All right, let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Apply steady pressure. Keep contracting those glutes and leg muscles. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. I think both my knees are almost down, or maybe the muscles right next to them are touching, so it feels like my knees are really close. Okay, that's it. I went too far. Whew. All right, take a couple seconds to breathe. Help your legs move a little bit. After holding that contraction in the outer thigh muscles, sometimes you'll be a little bit stiff. And once you flap your thigh wing thing around a little bit and you're starting to feel normal again, check out those legs, come back up. We're going into standing pancake. I'm going to scroll around because I saw a whole bunch of stuff come in. And I'm going to just read off TikTok. On YouTube, though, Evie Sylvia says, hello. Hello, Evie. All right. Sheena says, I thought it was my eyesight. Okay, so there is something going on. I wonder if it's a Wi-Fi issue causing the glitchiness. That could be. Me too. The humor is helping me feel the togetherness stretching. Awesome. Lovely. Okay, so everybody is seeing my head grow in size and shrink in size. That's hilariously weird. I hope it's... All right, well, I guess there's something for me to figure out. All right, let's continue. I'm glad the good vibes and the energy are making it a little bit more fun to do hard things. That's the intention. That's the goal, right? Like part of the reason why we do the community aspect and stuff is so that it's easier to do hard things. Okay. Butterfly stretch is done. Let's get into standing pancake. The standing pancake looks a little bit like this. We're going to open up our hips as wide as we can get without it being uncomfortable in the hips. It's going to be a little bit different for everybody. And I can go a little bit deeper here, but if you can't, that's totally okay. Just go as far as you can. Once you are in this position, or some version of it, fold forward at the hips, which means stick your butt back a little bit, and then bring everything else down. We're basically in position. This is the standing pancake. It's basically a hamstring stretch, just like super intense, and your legs are open. All right? So we've already done kind of a version of this, and that's why we do so many hamstring things prior to this. I want you to imagine sticking your butt back a little bit this way, so that it's easier for you to counterbalance by sticking your arms out in front of you this way. And then we're in standing pancake. You should be feeling that hamstring stretch. I want you to focus on bringing the belly button down into the ground. When your arms are up over your head, you'll feel it more intensely. If you remove some hands from your up above your head and bring it in, there'll be a little bit less pressure. If all of this is way too much, you can put your hands down and get a little bit of relaxation-ish. And that's it. Once you are folded in this position, actually, you might be able to open up your legs further because this is also external leg rotation. It's just that your whole body is rotated forward. Okay, now I think it's everything. Let's go. 30 seconds. Butt back, arms up, fold, bring the belly button down. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Because this position is so hard, I think I count really fast. 25, 24, 23, 22. So I'm intentionally trying to slow it down a little bit. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, belly button down, butt back, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, come on up. Pull your legs together and take a couple of seconds to relax from that position. Standing pancake is really intense, and as you can see, I'm just wobbling like a penguin for a couple of seconds here. Once I adjust the earbud so it doesn't fall out of my ear, let's talk about what you're supposed to be feeling. One, when we open up our legs, the adductors, these inner thigh muscles, are fighting against you. Their main job is to pull your leg in. So when you do the opposite, spreading them out, this muscle right here on the inside, not going to be happy with you. Same thing with the hamstrings. Doesn't matter if your legs are together in a regular hamstring stretch or if they're wide open in a pancake looking-ish stretch or straddle, if that is your thing. Your hamstrings are connected sort of right below the knee and into your hips. So anytime you fold forward like this, your hamstrings are going to be like, haha, I don't like this. And that is why we work them so much to get them prepared for this intense thing on the ground called the standing pancake. Okay, let me check the chat real quick. I just got offered $5,000 on YouTube, which is hilarious and unexpected. Oh, everybody likes my head getting bigger and smaller. Fantastic. All right. Let's continue. We are almost done with all the stretches. This is the last one before the actual side splits. It's stretch number 4, the figure 4. It makes it easy to remember. We're bringing the ankle across the body, and that makes our legs, this lower body. Oh, I'm wearing a contrasting t-shirt, so this actually works. Makes this thing that looks like the number 4 with your lower body. We're grabbing that ankle, we're bringing it up, and bringing our chest down as much as possible so that we feel this stretch here in the outside of the hip, sort of right next to the glute. All right, and we got 2 versions. If you're a regular, you know exactly what I'm gonna say. You can spend extra time in the stretch. You don't have to listen to me describe everything. But if you are new to the show, we got 2 versions. One is called the pigeon and one is called the figure 4. One's sort of on your stomach and one's on your back. The pigeon looks like this. We're gonna cross the leg across our body, and we're going to try and keep this sort of at a 90-degree angle. We're going to bring our chest down sort of towards the midpoint between the knee and the ankle, and we're going to try to keep the hips low. As long as you feel the stretch out here in this side hip glute area and maybe on the inner thigh, you're golden. If you are a little bit more flexible in other areas, you can try to straighten the leg behind you. If you're not quite that flexible and it's a little bit hard, it's totally fine to bend your leg. As long as your chest is aiming for the middle of the leg between your knee and your ankle, you're golden. Cool. That's one. Let's talk figure 4. Figure 4 looks a little bit like this. We're taking the leg we want to stretch, crossing it over, so we got that number 4 thing going on, like so. Then we're reaching through, grabbing the knee that is not getting stretched, and we're pulling the hip, or I guess pulling the knee in and creating that hip stretch. You can pick whichever version you like. You got 3 seconds to get into position, and 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. In the figure 4, you have to do all the pulling and bring your hip in, but you have full control over the experience. So keep on pulling, don't relax too much, keep going. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ooh, okay. Switch to the other side, do the other leg. I'm gonna do pigeon on this side because I did figure 4 on the other one. And once again, we're trying to bring our chest sort of to the midpoint between the ankle and the knee. We are trying to keep our hips low and bring the chest down, feeling the stretch out here in the outer glute hip area. And once you're in position, let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27. This position requires a little less effort because gravity is pulling our chests down, just like in the hamstring stretch and the standing pancake and pretty much everything that we do. We prefer to be a little lazier and get better results, right? But I find that having a little bit more control in this stretch is helpful. I don't know why. I like the figure 4 better. Anyways, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, come on up out of that stretch. Your hippie glute areas should be nicely stretched. Come up, shake it out, and let's get ready to do some side splits. On YouTube, we got a question, and the question is, can you actually do the splits? The answer is no, I cannot do the splits. I'm pretty close. I've been working on this for a while. Actually, I hit exactly 1 year of doing some version of this show, partially because I needed to practice consistency, and having other people do it with me was the easiest way for me to make sure that I did it. And I am trying to do what I'm gonna call the last stretch, and it's gonna be a series probably on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram of reels of short form video, and it's gonna be about focusing a lot on doing the intense, more painful stretches, not as chill as our live generally is, so that I can get a little bit of progress in that last little bit of stretching that I need to get my butt onto the ground. So that is happening. I cannot do it yet, and I am working on it. Somebody asked, what is 42 plus 25? That's weird. Okay. And somebody said this guy is peaceful. I enjoy peaceful. Good vibes is good. Sheena says, I love the figure four. It is my favorite. Lovely. That is great. Okay. You're not the only one. Figure four is my preferred version. I think when I want to just chill, I enjoy the pigeon because if you just bend your ankle in, you can tweak the difficulty of the stretch. If you push the ankle away, it gets more intense. If you tuck the ankle in a little bit, it can be way more comfortable. And if you add just a little bit, so you're just feeling a little bit of stretch and you just chill there for a little bit, it's very, very nice. Okay, let's continue. It's time for the side splits. We did everything else. We've been doing stuff for a while now. It's time for the side splits. First thing we're gonna do is talk about safety. If you're worried a little bit about balance falling backwards, if you weren't worried before and now you're worried because I told you to be worried, I'm sorry, but let's talk safety. If you take one step away from this wall that we've been using for other reasons, you should be about 8 to 12 inches away from the wall, and that is pretty much perfect for keeping us safe. That's because if you have your legs apart, you just sort of fold forward and touch your butt back, you should be able to touch the wall. And you can't fall backwards if your butt's touching the wall, right? But if you're in the side splits and you're over here and you're feeling like, oh, I'm gonna fall backwards. If you did fall, you got 8 to 12 inches of backwards leaning, possibly, and then you'll be against the wall. So you'll be good. You'll be safe. Cool. All right. We talked safety. Let's get into the side splits. I am scooting a little bit forward because if I fall backwards where I am, I'm going to smash my shoulder into that doorknob. You don't have that problem, hopefully. So don't worry about it. From here, we're going to open up our legs as wide as we can until it's almost uncomfortable here at the hips. Now that we've done all of this warm up, I'm able to get this deep, which is much deeper than we were in standing pancake. So it seems like that was very useful. From here, we're going to fold forward, put our hands down on the ground like we're going to do some push-ups. We're not actually doing push-ups, but if you put a little bit of weight into your hands, it's easier for your legs to move. What we want to do is externally rotate the legs. And as soon as I externally rotated, my legs started to shoot off to the side. I hope I'm far enough away that you can see them. Yes, okay. What we're doing is pointing the toes and the knees up into the air and keeping the heels down. This is called external leg rotation. We talked about it at the very beginning of the live. What we're doing is moving our hip bone away from a little nub in our leg bone that keeps us from getting deeper into the side split and is what causes that discomfort when I talk about it when we're standing. Okay, if you're here and you're stuck already, that's great. You're doing great. If you want to try to get a little bit deeper because you have some more range of motion that you think you can access, walk your hands to your hips. That'll put all of the body weight that you were storing in your arms over here into your hips, help you get into a deeper side split stretch or put you into more suffering. And I guess for our purposes, that's good. Once you are here and you cannot move anymore, I'm going to ask you to do one more thing to make your suffering worse. Do a little wiggle from side to side. See if maybe there's just a little bit of friction holding you back. If you can hear the crazy farting sounds, that is my heel rubbing against the floor every time I do a little bit of a wiggle. And I think I'm there. I can't move anymore. All right, let's go 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Sorry, YouTube. My earbud just fell out of my ear. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Lean forward, walk your hands forward, pull your legs back in. Kneel if you need to. We spent a bunch of time in that position, especially if you know exactly what you're doing and you didn't need the instruction. You're probably holding it for an extra long time. Come back into standing. And we're going to try our best to force some relaxation. What that means is we're going to shake, we're going to wiggle, and it's going to help us to relax. The reason why this works and is really good is because we just forced our body to get really tense until the point where it wouldn't move anymore. And that intensity probably caused you a little bit of discomfort, but what we're trying to do is have the muscles relax as much as possible. So when you get back into it, it won't be like, hey, I'm already super tense and you're just trying to do more. We're trying to get a nice fresh start and then come back into it. You should find that you're able to get a little bit deeper the second time, especially if you take some time to relax in between. Feel free to shake out your arms, do this wiggle, shake. They didn't really get stretched, but they were working really hard to keep you supported. So give them some love, some rest as well. We got some comments. Oh, Sheena's excited to do some side splits. Lovely. And Abundancia. Oh, that's an awesome username. I don't know why I didn't understand the combination of the words until just now. I'm glad you're having fun. Once we're done wiggling, let's do a couple of quick checks to make sure our joints are working and everything is working pain-free. We're going to do some pain circles, hip circles. Hopefully not pain circles. I think subconsciously I was worried that my hips out here would feel a little bit tight. That's why I call them pain circles, but they're not actually painful. They're just a little tender, needs a little stretching after every round. I don't know if this is the same for everybody, but right here on the side, I need a little bit of a stretch. If you need this, well, take a couple seconds, enjoy. If there's any part of the checks that you need a couple extra seconds, go ahead and take it. I talk for a long time, so you got plenty of time. We're going to continue with some high knees, make sure everything is working. You don't have to do much. If you do a quick test, it seems like everything's fine. You can just move on. What I just did was a mini squat from the side. It looks a little bit like this. We're bending the knees. We're working those ankles. And if you want, come up on those toes just to make sure everything is working pretty good. Once you have done all those things, your joints are good, your legs are loose, you've shaken it out and relaxed a little bit, then we're ready for round 2. If you have been having fun, if you've done some stretching, more stretching than you've done in a while, I hope you'll consider hitting follow, hit subscribe, get notified, do all those good things. We practice consistency every single day by doing the side split stretching. And a lot of people keep coming back because we're consistent, because you have a good time. That builds a little bit of community, which is doing lovely in the chat today. And hopefully that means we can together make a whole bunch of progress towards our side split goals. Okay, round 2, side splits. Let's go. Stay close to that wall if you want a little bit of extra safety. If you're otherwise ready, let's start. Open up those legs nice and wide. I think I got to scoot back a little bit further from the camera, otherwise my feet are going to get cut off. Open up those legs, fold forward, put your hands down, Externally, rotate the legs so your toes are up, heels are down, knees are up. Walk the hands back towards your hips as much as you can so that all that weight is over your hips and into your legs. Do a little wiggle from side to side to see if you can get that last little bit of stretch out of you. And once you cannot go any further, let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Walk those hands forward, pull your legs in behind you, come back into a kneeling position if you need to, and come back up into standing. Let's wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Shake, 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 shake. Flop around, flop around, flop around. Relax those muscles. If you think this looks ridiculous and you still don't know why we do this, I want you to imagine if I was flexing really hard and I tried to do what we're doing, we would look like King Kong robots, right? Just because my arm is easier to show contracting muscles. But what we want is to be loose and wiggly, all right? So loosen up. When you're kicking, when you're throwing your arms around, you'll immediately know if you're tight and contracted because your leg will be like, huh. And obviously that's not what we want. So I hope that answers that question. We got one more round of side splits. I am gonna scroll real quick to see if we got anything else to address. I am not Viet. Alec 400. Oh, welcome back, Alec. Alec asked about pistol squats, I think, yesterday. And yeah, it's okay. If you, sorry, I think Sheena said I'm years away from the side split. If you hop onto Instagram, which is where I started everything, and scroll all the way down to day 1, the account is the same. I splits on the side. You can see where I started basically 367 days ago. I started on November 1st, 2024. It's like November 2nd, 2025 or something. So it's been a year. And all I've done essentially is this show that you're seeing. So on really good days, if I'm not talking and I'm not rambling, we only do exercises. It's really not that long. But because I talk and I instruct a little bit, obviously runs a little bit longer. But it's also more fun, right? If you're just going, 100% fastest possible exercise routine ever, which some people need. So I'm not hating on efficient workouts. You can train and get some results. It's not super fast, but it's not super slow either, and you're making progress. And as long as you're feeling better, that's a good place to be. Cool. Okay. Round 3. Side splits. Wall, close, safety. Open legs as wide as you can, and once it's slightly uncomfortable in the hips, fold forward, put your hands down, externally rotate the legs so that your toes are pointing up, your heels are down, your knees are pointing up. You should feel more comfortable getting into all of these parts compared to the first time we did this. And now we get to push it a little bit harder. Walk those hands back towards your hips. Focus on deepening that stretch. Do a little wiggle from side to side. Wow, I'm going much further in this wiggle than I was expecting. Keep wiggling side to side. Get as deep into the stretch as you can. This is our last one. Let's make it count. Focus on bring your hips into the ground. And once you're ready, let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. That might have been too much wiggle. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Lean forward. Walk your hands forward. Bring the legs back in. Rest on the ground if you need to, because we're mostly done. And when you can, recover. Come back into standing. Whew. And we gotta do everything that we've been doing every time. Even though we finish the stretch, we gotta relax and loosen up because you gotta be able to use your muscles for the rest of the day, right? So let's make sure that everything is working smoothly. Shake, 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 shake. Flop, 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 flop. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. If you have loose pants, it looks even more impressive. Um, but once your legs are starting to feel normal-ish and you wiggle out the rest of your arms that are working pretty hard, you can also do some equivalent of the wiggling for your upper body. We hold a lot of tension when we're trying to figure out what we're doing with our legs. We're like, ugh. So if you want to do a little bit of movement up at the top as well, if you want to keep it basic, you can lean from side to side. You can do some basic cat-cow standing. Open the chest, contract. Get loose, because you got a couple more hours left in your day to enjoy your body working well. Okay, cool. We did all the loosening stuff. Let's do the quick checks. Hip circles. Okay. I'm gonna check the comments real quick because I feel like, did we do 3 rounds of side splits? We did do 3 rounds of side splits, right? High knees. Do some mini squats. Make sure your knees, your ankles, your toesies, everything is working. Do some skipping from side to side. It doesn't have to be explosive, just making sure you can get power going. Whew. And with that, we are all wrapped up for today. Let's see. Scrolling through the chat. Give me a second. I'm trying to get far enough back to see the last thing that I saw. Oh, it was Abundancia who was replying to Sheena. I see. Okay. Free says, yes, that's what I look like when I do that. Sheena says, right, I'm only 7 days invested so far. Sheena, thank you for being here for 7 days. I appreciate it. Thank you for keeping count too, because I have completely lost track. But I do know that you keep coming in. Don't worry, I recognize your name. Alex says, second day I'm hooked. Oh, thank you. That's lovely. I'm glad that we were able to do pistol with you on your first day. Thank you for having the courage to ask some questions and hanging around so that you could like the vibes enough to keep coming back. I appreciate it. All right. True to new me. Oh man, pronunciation. Oh my god. I don't know what he's talking about or she's talking about. Sheena says, yay. On count 50. Have I been going so slow that you count yourself and you're like, this is 50 seconds. You're crazy. This is not 30. Well, there's a secret to that. If you know what you're doing, this is a kind of secret way to build in more time into the stretch because you can just jump right into it. You don't need my extra instruction. Hearing some stuff might give you some extra information, but it's not that critical for most people who've been doing this for, Sheena, a week. And then you get to spend more time in all those positions. It's not a 30-second stretch, it's a 50-second stretch. But I spent all that time explaining, so everybody who's coming in for the first time still gets their 30 seconds because I count for 30 seconds. So it's kind of intentional. It's gotten a little bit longer especially when I get excited and somebody asks a question and I start explaining way too much. Then it might turn into like a minute and a half. But yeah, I hope you enjoy that time. Alex says, I literally learned more from 1 hour of Ken than 3 months of my chiropractor. That's very kind and generous. I don't know if I have the knowledge base to continue to offer that kind of value, but in the topics that I feel pretty comfortable talking about, I'll let you know that I feel pretty comfortable talking about those things, and I hope I can continue to provide good value. And let me know how the pistols go. All right, let's see. Sheena's heading out. She says, thanks, Ken. Good night, everybody. Abundancia says, thank you for making my first time here enjoyable. I will be back. Lovely, lovely. Thank you, everybody. Miss Maturista says, thank you, thank you. The third time was my deepest yet, Ganowski. Yes, that is exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it so that every time you do it, at least here, you get a little bit deeper and you make a little bit of progress so that you feel like you did a really good job and you feel really good about the work that we do every single day. 3 is exactly, I think, the number where you keep making progress. I think after 3, at least for me, it starts feeling very much the same and it gets a lot less motivational. So we keep it at 3. Free says your information is already, hold on, I'm going to tap your name so I see your account. Okay, it's free A401. It is just free. Cool. Your information is very welcome. I appreciate you for letting me know that. All right. I think that is all the comments for today. Oh, actually, Cedar says, hi, what's best for tight hip flexor? Okay, so the hip flexor is a little bit complicated. And that is because there are a bunch of muscles that are all considered hip flexors, and they're all slightly different. And typically, if you hop on Google and you Google tight hip flexors, which I have done many times over the last 15 years, it leads you to something like, hey, here are these best stretches for tight hip flexors. And it tends to look something like this. We shift those hips forward and we feel this stretch here. All right, vaguely-ish here. That is pretty good short term for tight hip flexors. But typically, tight hip flexors are the result of your hip flexors being weak and being unable to control movement from that area, right? And because they're weak, they're going to contract really hard to keep you from getting into a position that you can't control. And it's gonna sound a little counterintuitive because you're like, oh, it's weak, so why is it contracting so hard and why is it so strong, messing up everything else up? It's because your body and your brain typically is designed to try to keep you safe, try to keep you from doing things that you shouldn't do. And realistically, your brain only has information that it has, and it takes a lot of time to figure out, oh, okay, this is cool, this is okay. And a lot of stretching is trying to teach your brain that this is cool, this is okay, let me go do some side splits, right? So in this tight hip flexor situation, on one hand, you want it to relax and loosen so that you can get into deeper positions. On the other hand, you want to get much stronger so that your body can go, oh, yes, look, they have full control over this position and can get in and out of it safely. So let's let them move in that position. This is sort of why I talk about trying to strengthen muscles steadily spread throughout the life. It's because you need to have a little bit more strength in order for your body to be comfortable with letting you stretch out. And if you wanted to Google and do some very specific research on your own, the keyword here would be PNF. I never remember how to pronounce the word that the P starts with, but N is neuromuscular and F is facilitation. And if you just Google PNF stretching, a bajillion things will show up. But specifically, what we want to talk about in PNF stretching is not exactly what we're doing here, per se, but in PNF stretching, typically you're getting into a stretched position, like this for the hamstring. You're getting stretched, and then you're contracting muscles. So right now my hamstring is tight from the stretch. That's my body responding, going, hey, this is not a safe position, cut it out. And from here, you want to go out of your way to flex the hamstring so that it starts contracting. You get into even more intense position. It gets way more intense by your own choosing because you're contracting the hamstring muscle, and it signals to the brain, essentially, the nervous system, that we're contracting the muscle because we don't want you to be unsafe. This is called the stretch reflex. But said person is also contracting the muscle like they're trying to use it. So maybe we don't want the stretch reflex to be working as hard. When you do that combination of things, it basically tells the brain to chill out on the stretch reflex. And if you hold it for long enough for your brain to respond and then your muscle to respond, and it's different across different body parts. Smaller, weaker muscles tend to respond faster. Larger, stronger muscles tend to take a lot longer to respond. Then typically you can get a tiny little bit of additional range of motion for a couple of rounds. If you're going to do 10, 15 rounds, it's probably unlikely you're going to open up any further. But if you're doing 2, 3, 4 rounds, you'll feel a little bit of additional space to get a little bit deeper into the stretch. You're getting stronger at the same time because you're contracting those muscles, and that helps you get stronger and more flexible at the same time. I hope that really long-winded explanation that had a whole bunch of like little asterisks built in made sense. And I hope that answered your question. Oh wait, tight hip flexors. How to strengthen tight hip flexors. We talked about stretching tight hip flexors. How to strengthen tight hip flexors. It really depends on where you are most tight. The hip cars, for example, what we were doing earlier, will cover most of the main hip muscles. So the tight hip flexor in the front would require some bring your knees up or bring your leg up and holding and getting strong here. If you have different areas that need strengthening, then a body weight free, easy to do at home way of doing all those things would be to work on some hip cars. Yeah, I think that covers everything. Let's see. Anything else left in the chat I need to see? Prabuddha says, "Hey, bro, give your introduction on YouTube." Hello. Sorry, I didn't see your message earlier. My name is Ken, and I do some side split stretching live every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community. Because if I'm here and you're here and we keep coming back to practice consistency, eventually, inevitably, we'll get to know each other a little bit, good vibes will spread, and conversation will start. That helps to make hard things a little bit easier. I try to bring good vibes, I try to keep fun. I try to make the struggles, the suffering over there on the floor a little bit easier with humor and good time. Hopefully, that means together, doing all those things, practicing consistency with a bit of community, we can make a whole bunch of progress with our side splits, or at least our hip mobility-ish goals over there. I keep pointing back there because usually I'm way back over there so you can actually see what my body is doing. Okay, that's the spiel. If you liked the quick Q&A at the end of the live, because that's a lot of you coming in now, we do Q&A at the end, and if questions come in, and if I feel comfortable answering them because I know what I'm talking about, then I'm going to do my best to answer. If I have no idea what you're asking about, then I'm going to tell you I probably have no idea what you're asking about. So I hope you enjoyed today. Hope you enjoyed the quick summary of what it is that I do here. And Tejas says, I am done with my workout. That is good. We are also done with our workout. PTSD Rex Nukes says, I'm suffering from sciatica for a year. I've tried stretches, resting, everything. What do I do? That is a really hard question because I don't know what your situation is and I don't know what you've tried, honestly. So I would recommend you talk to somebody with a lot more experience, specifically with back pain and sciatica. There is a really awesome account on both Instagram and YouTube called Low Back Ability, at Low Back Ability, and they specialize in helping people who have had back pain, really serious back pain, get stronger over time, slowly. It's not fast, but it seems very effective. I've tried a little bit of their workout because I've had not sciatica pain, but a little bit of back pain from a really old injury, like a 12-year-old injury. Every couple months, I'll do something fun and then I'll just tweak it a little bit. Nothing so bad that I'm suffering for months, but like I'll be like 3 days, I'll be like, and then I'll be sort of hunched over for 3 days. I've done a little bit of the introductory workouts from low back ability, and I haven't had any issues in about 3 months, even though I'm working out more than I ever have. And yeah, I think he is a reliable resource to get you started. Yeah, I think that's as much as I'm going to answer that question. Um, Jensu Lirosi says, hello, hi, welcome back. All right, hopping back onto TikTok real quick to see if there's anything else to respond to. Abundancia says, oh, P.S. I just scrolled and another live was doing the same glitching. Maybe it's just TikTok tonight. Yes, it's not me. I don't have to figure it out. All right. I think that is all of the chat. I think we are all wrapped up for today. I hope you guys had a wonderful stretch, got some good splits stretching in, at least got some valuable answers, things to try out, things to look into, and that's it. Once again, my name is Ken. We do live side split stretching every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, and hopefully together we can make a whole bunch of progress towards our side split goals. When I say consistency, it's not just for you, it's for me. I can't do the side splits yet, but I've been doing some version of this side split stretch thing every single day for about a year now. And I've missed a couple of days in the beginning when on vacation and stuff, but I think of the last 365 days, I have done 350-ish, plus or minus like 5. And, or I mean, probably more -5 than +5. And it's been super good. It gives me something to look forward to every single day, something that provides good vibes, something that gets me excited. Yeah, this is one of my favorite parts of the day. So hopefully I bring that good energy for you guys, and it makes your day a little bit better. You get a little bit of stretching done. Everything's good for your body. Cool. PTSD Rex Nuke says, "Wow, thank you. You're very welcome. I'm glad I could refer somebody with more expertise." All right, that's it for me. Thank you everybody for hanging out, doing stretches. I will see you same time tomorrow. Bye bye. And now, and now.